With this many people together and WIOA on everybody's mind, we wanted to point out just a few of the elements of WIOA. Rod mentioned in his welcome the strategic planning across core programs. We've been working very closely with CareerSource, DEO, the Rehab, Blind Services, all of these partners in developing that unified state plan. And we have a draft of that plan which will be posted very soon, and I'll talk about the dates of that soon. WIOA also has established some common measures across all core programs. We have a team that's been meeting on that at the DOE. Tara McLarnon is here today, and she has been a part of that committee and leading them through all the things that they need to know about adult education. But also, we'll be talking to you in the coming weeks more about these common measures. When you're looking at the alignment of education and training activities, we'll be partnering more closely with CareerSource and some of those things that we'll be doing with Career Pathways. And Career Pathways is mentioned throughout WIOA. I think somebody told me there was 60 to 70 mentions of it in the law. But it also strengthens the partnerships and the investments in one-stop delivery system. Many of you already have partnered with the one-stops, and you have either an adult ed class there or you have some kind of partnership with them now. Well, now adult education is a required partner in the one-stop centers. So we do have someone from Brevard County that will be here tomorrow, Lisa Rice, and she'll be talking about the development of their local plans and how adult education is partnering in with some of those activities. So we'll hear more about that tomorrow from her. The connection between adult education, post-secondary education, and workforce will be strengthened through integrated education and training programs. And what we mean by that is you'll be enrolled with our Career Pathways model, our FICAPS model. A student can be enrolled in GED and simultaneously enrolled in a CTE program. So this is something that we are required to do. We've been working on some of those strategies this year and how we'll be implementing that, and part of that is with our FICAPS grantees and looking at that model. So you'll hear more about that as we go along. So a strong emphasis is placed not on just like with adult ed, getting your high school diploma or your equivalent, but now helping them to go on to post-secondary education and looking at ways that we can accelerate the programs that they're enrolled in. CareerSource local workforce development boards. This is one of the things that if you were an applicant for the AGE funds, you always had to connect with the CareerSource boards to get their review of the plan. So this is something you've already been doing, but you will continue to do that with WIOA. We might step it up a little bit in some of the things, but they don't have to approve your plan, they just have to review it and make sure that it does align with what their local plans are. And so what we're hearing right now is that they're working on their local plans and they have to be submitted sometime in April, and then the final plans will be approved and will be available for everybody to look at in May. Some of the program-specific plan elements, and I just wanted to tell you this, whenever you look at the draft Unified State Plan, and that will be posted, I think, on CareerSource's website. But once that's posted for public comment, in the appendix, this is where you see the program-specific information, like for Voc Rehab, Wagner-Pizer, Adult Ed, all of those will be in the back of the plan. But in the main content of that, you'll see all the partnerships and the integrated activities that we'll be doing with the core partners. So you'll see that throughout the plan, how Adult Ed will help support some of these things. But one of the things that we were required to do with program specific is the alignment of the adult education standards to the standards that they're using in the K-12 system. We had already started that with our college and career readiness, so we're in a good place with that, and we have done that alignment. The integrated education and training, I've already mentioned that. Workforce preparation activities. This is something that was also in the WIOA law, and we have added those to all of our curriculum frameworks. Our frameworks for 16-17 are now posted, and they will become final once the state board does approve those. So the workforce preparation activities, I think we do have a handout in your booklet, and it's under curriculum, and you can see what those activities are. And it's not that you're not already doing those and whether you integrate them into your classroom, but I know that Career Source and the One-Stop Centers, a lot of these things, they have workshops, so it might be something you could partner for your students to attend some of those workshops. But when you're talking about employability skills, soft skills, all of those kinds of things can be integrated actually into the classroom. Well, we also have the integrated English, literacy, and civics education. You know, with this, career pathways has become an important part of ESOL as well. So, but we still have the civics component of that, but career pathways is considered a civics component as well. So, English language acquisition. This was a title that Octay, or in the draft regs we see, they're proposing that we start calling that program English language acquisition. And I don't know that in the final regs how that will come out, because a lot of people thought, well, we've got ELA, English Language Arts. They're going to confuse that with ELA. So we're going to continue to call it ESOL or ESL in the state, because if we did change it, we'd have to go in and change rules and statute and all of that. So for the time being, that's where we're going to stay. But the goals of ESOL have changed. In the past, it was to help them get the language skills they needed so they could go to work. But now we're also looking at it transition into post-secondary education, employment, a high school diploma. All of those goals have also been, in adult education as well. So the WIOA timeline. In the PowerPoint that you have right now, since we printed that, those timelines have changed. So the draft unified plan, like I said, it will be posted in the next couple of weeks for public comment. And where you can actually find that, we'll make sure that we broadcast that in a number of ways so that you'll be able to go out and take a peek at that. The state unified plan is due April 1st, 2016. I'm sure that ours will be ready and we'll submit it before that time. 2016-2017 is the first year of WIOA implementation. This year we had several activities that we had to conduct, for transition, and part of that was the workforce preparation activities that we added all the curriculum frameworks. So we've done some activities this year to make sure that happened. Now, 2016-17 will be a continuation grant for AGE. And I know that whenever we had the ACE conference, we weren't sure at that time which way we were going to go with that. But there's several things that are going on with the local workforce boards, with their plans and everything. So we just decided we had to delay it because we weren't quite ready for that. So that will be a continuation year. So the next competition will be 2017-18. Now, this past year, as Rod mentioned in his welcome, we did award 8 grants for planning and design of a FICAPS system. We're going to do that again this year, so I hope that some of you can apply for that. And it's not that it's a lot of money, but it's still something that you're a part of, and we can work together to see how things are working with this FICAPS model. So look for that, and we'll be announcing all of that probably the end of February. I just wanted to mention, you hear people talk about bridge programs and everything, and not everybody has the same definition of what a bridge program is. So look at it like this. A bridge is something that's between adult education and it's post-secondary education, and it prepares you for that. So it's a non-credit certificate program. It's contextualized curriculum, career awareness and development, transition services, so that they'll know what kinds of things they need to do to go on to post-secondary education. So just keep that in mind, that that is not a credit program with that. Now, the integrated education and training, which is our FICAPS model, that is a certificate program. And the idea is that student will be enrolled in, let's say, the Jedi Course, and I'll talk about that in just a second. But they'll be enrolled in this and the CTE program so that they can at least earn that initial credit. and then hopefully go on and have stackable credentials as they go through their career ladder. So with the integrated education and training, you'll hear a lot today about the team teaching. And this is a new concept for adult ed. And bringing in the CTE teacher and the adult ed teacher working together, so this will be a new concept for us. But the comprehensive academic and student support. You already do this in your adult ed programs, but we're looking at this and adding more support to them so that they can continue on with this path. So the competitive leadership grants that I mentioned just a moment ago, right now we're at the same amount of money, $25,000 for each one. We may change that whenever we look at the final budget. And when I say change it, I hope that might be an increase of what it was last year. Sorry, those that got it this year at $25,000 if we do increase it. So we're also under review some new grants for some integrated ESOL and CTE programs. So right now we're looking at GED, and that's part of our model, but we want to also include that in our ESOL programs. So this is what it looks like. This year with our FICAPS grantees, they were looking at planning, design, and some of them were ready to start implementing. So they did. They started in the fall. But when you look at the FICAPS model, it looks a lot like the development of any program that you would do. Developing the leadership team, partnerships. This is something that you cannot do alone. You will absolutely have to have strong partners in CTE and working with them. And you're going to also hear about some of the other partners here. I don't think a lot of you have heard about the SNAP education and training. So we've got someone here, Sheila Salem, and another colleague. They're going to be here to talk about that partnership and how that occurred later on today. But anyway, we've got lots of sessions dealing with partnerships, so you'll get ideas and strategies for developing those partnerships. Contextualized curriculum. This is something that is very important not only in a bridge program, but in the integrated education and training as well, and the team teaching. Braided funding. Even though WIOA has stated that they want career pathways and the integrated education and training programs, there is no additional funding. So it's sort of left up to you to decide how you're going to do that. So we're putting out a little bit of seed money just to help with the planning and design. And then, you would have to look to different sources. But for career pathways, you can use your AGE funds. And I think everybody's seen those RFAs where it has a strong career pathway component in it. Lots of people are already looking at developing scholarships because you've got to figure out how they're going to pay for that student to enroll in the CTE program. So I think that's one of the issues that we've had in this model is where do we get the funding? So it's really not something that you work all the details out in 1 year. It's something that you continue to build on and figure out the solutions to some of the things that have come up. Recruitment of students. You want to make sure that the students are motivated, they really see this as an advantage, and they're not just going to drop out and not continue with this. So we're really looking for that kind of student that's willing to put in the extra time, because it's not, if they're doing adult ed and the CTE course, that's a lot of commitment and time, hours, and everything. So you have to look at, how are we going to recruit? Are we going to look at our existing program, our GED program, or are we going to go on to another one to look at that? And the student support services I mentioned earlier, making sure that we are supporting them in all the needs that they may have, even financial aid, so that they can learn about financial aid. So I've talked about the GED. Well, we did create a course. We call it the Jedi. And a student must pre-test at the grade equivalent of 9th grade in 2 of the subject areas, reading, mathematics, or language arts. So if you look at that, Jedi plus a CTE course, and then the goal is that they do stay with the program, they get their GED certificate, and they also get the initial certificate with the PSAV program. Now we will be monitoring the use of the Jedi course. Initially, we only wanted the FICAPS grantees will use this Jedi course number. But if there's anybody else out there that's doing this and they want to use this course, they just need to let us know. So you can give me a call and let me know what you're doing, and that will be fine, that we'll do that. We're going to get together with our FICAPS grantees at the end of the year, and we're going to look at everything they've had, their successes, their failures, everything that they want to advise us on this particular model. You know, IBEST may work in Washington State, but will that work exactly in the state of Florida? So we want to look at our model and get it to fit our needs and what will work best with our data systems. You know, it's very important how we report our data. So there's lots of information that you'll learn about today, but just knowing that that is something that we're in a pilot year for our model, and we want to look at it and make sure we structure it the best way that we can.